90% of the world are idiots. Half of them are morons. We are the 10%. This is a podcast of one, and I'm your host, Spario. Yeah, we're back to this. This hasn't happened in like about a year, but I kind of got some stuff to talk. Why am I wearing my headphones? I don't need them right now. Well, anyway, I got some stuff to talk about. So I'm going to go into the topic list for today, disregarding the mini points, which I'll talk about as I get to them in the very beginning. You know how this goes if you watched the last one, which you probably didn't because it's been a while since I uploaded the last one. Anyway, so first off, the topic is games I'm enjoying this week. Then I have a Smash Bros. Ultimate story and why piracy comes at a cost. Or I guess impatientness as well. I don't want to make it too vague. Oh, my camera just first. Okay. Then we have the You Are Deadpool comic, Excitement, which is a comic I found. I'll tell again into it. Then we have other entertainment I'm enjoying this week. Then we have the story about my Wii U is literally worthless. And then projects I'm working on this week. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, first mini point we have here today is this beautiful knife. This thing is, it's showing up pretty well on camera. I'm going to leave a link in the description just to show it off more, like which one it is exactly. Oh, I dropped it. But yeah, this is a very fantastic butterfly knife. It's held together very well. It's put together excellently, and it flips beautifully, and it looks amazing. I got it on the website Knives Matter, and if you're looking into butterfly knives and you like the curved design, I'd check them out. They have both trainer and sharp ones. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by them. I got to say that because, well, you got to say that anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely not sponsored by them. I would take a sponsorship if they offered me because I love butterfly knives. And if they told me, hey, do a video on a knife, I'd do it. So that's about that. And then next topic is Amiibo in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I just want to give this is kind of like a PSA about Amiibo, but like this, for example, is my Shulk Amiibo, which I've used since Smash 4. And when you put them into Smash Ultimate, they retain knowledge of how to play the game a little bit, but they get reset for the most part. They go down, like this one was level 50, because I had played with it for quite a while in Smash 4. But when I scanned it in Smash Ultimate, it told me, would you like to reset? And I decided, you know what, let's reset them. Let's bring them back, like training, retrain them for the new game and whatnot. And it was pretty cool because it starts from the beginning. It starts at level 12. If it was level 50, I think it does some calculations based on how much it knows and what kind of like techniques it knows. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I misspelled something in the thing. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I just want to put that out there. Like, if you plan on, like, oh, I'm going to have my Amiibo, be really cool and Smash Ultimate, do know that if you want to scan them, to use them, you'll have to reset them to their original way, and they'll only work for Smash Ultimate after that, and they can't be backwards compatible. That's just a PSA. It's a pretty neat system, if you ask me. It's kind of cool that you get to, like, transfer over some knowledge. I guess it's because the game is so different now. That's evidence it's not a port. There we go. Anyway, that's cool. I have some more Amiibo. I have, I bought one Five Below. I bought this for $5. It's a pretty good deal. If you see a good Amiibo, sometimes you'll see them at Five Below. And then this guy I bought on Amazon for like normal price, $15. And they're good Amiibo. Splatoon Amiibos. They're good for Splatoon because you can save your loadouts to them. I also got this Amiibo at Five Below. Isabel Amiibo. She's so cute. Okay. Oh no, I dropped her. No, get back here. Okay. Anyway, last mini point for today because I don't have that much miniature points to talk about. But I came up with a pretty interesting routine for working out. Not really a routine, just kind of like, okay, so I have a exercise machine. It's like a glider, but of course it's missing the feet, so I have to find a way to use it without make something on there. So that's gonna happen. But as soon as I get it up and running, I plan on watching videos while I just go on that machine. Or not videos. I watch TV shows I want to catch up on while exercising. And that's just some advice I've been given. So I think it's actually good advice. If you're having trouble getting motivated to exercise, if you watch one episode of a show every day when you exercise, and you like the show, you're gonna want to exercise more because you're gonna want to get to see what happens next, and you're gonna want to catch up on the show. And it's fun to do. And if you're doing a repetitive task like a machine, then it's perfect. A lot of people do it. I recommend it. I'm gonna start trying to do it as soon as I get that machine that I have working, because I like doing it at home. I don't like going to the gym. People are looking at you like, oh, what's that guy watching? Oh, what's that? What is going on there? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What is this? This guy has a guy coming out of his back. Because, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the one I'm going to start watching. And then you also have to worry about space on your phone to download things. and some apps don't allow you to download stuff. For example, Verve has an issue where if you download the thing, sometimes the subtitles don't come with it. Don't know why that is, but I got it working something later. Anyway, my original idea was to walk and look at my phone like this, but then I realized that that's the stupidest thing I've ever come up with. Even if I'm indoors, in like an indoors area, I'll just end up tripping over something and probably get hurt. And probably break my backup phone, which I'm going to be using. I'm not using my main phone because I have a BlackBerry and it has a keyboard. You know, the screen's smaller. But I have an old phone that I've been using for it, and it's pretty decent. I haven't tried it out yet, but I have all the parts except the feet for the exorcism. This is going on too long. I want to stop talking about this. Games I'm enjoying this week. Smash Ultimate is awesome. So that came out Friday, and I really enjoy Smash. Okay, Smash. I got to tell this story one time, like a full, like, lengthy version of this story. But like in high school, I used to play Smash all the time with my friends during study halls. My friend brought his entire Wii U. One of my friends brought the Wii U. We each brought our own game controllers, and we would just keep doing 1v1s with each other, and just like cycle around, like winner gets off, and it was amazing. And that game shaped a lot of my high school years, and I always remember those days. I remember the tournament we had. We had a Melee tournament one time. I didn't go to it, but because I don't play Melee. But my friends were all competing in it, and it was pretty hype. I'll have to tell that story some other time, but yeah. But that's why I'm so excited for Smash Ultimate, because the new characters are really fun. I'm going to get into the story later, but about how I basically got to play it 2 weeks early. Well, I got to play it 2 weeks early. But yeah, it's very fun. Other games I'm enjoying, I haven't really played anything other than Smash this week. I played some Fire Emblem Heroes when I had my Switch broken, which I'll get into this whole story later, or when I get to that topic, which is next. So, but yeah, I had my Switch broken. I was playing some Fire Emblem Heroes on my phone. Oh, I played this amazing game. I have a phone. The phone I was using for it's over there in the background on my desk next to Pineapple's mask. But yeah, it's also, I use it for like playing various games and like watching stuff, because it has a bigger screen and it's more of a touchscreen. It doesn't have the keyboard. But I played this ridiculously weird game called Underhanded. I think it's Underhand or something. It's on the Play Store, and it's free. It was a short little like indie game that someone made. Probably just like, you know, I don't know if you have to pay for it later on, but like each level is a scenario that you have to go through, and you're like the leader of this cult, and you're trying to grow your cult. Yeah, grow your cult and summon a god to kill everyone or something. I don't know. Or to take over the world. I think you're trying to take over the world by summoning all the gods, which is a simple story, but it basically it's like a card game. So like you draw a card and it gives you options, and like you either play, like you use resources that you have in your hand. So like you're basically in your hand, like a regular card game, you have a hand, and your hand is all of the resources you have. And you draw a card in this event, and it says like there's like a couple options, and depending on which option you choose, you either get resources or spend them, and it's pretty cool because it's like you have to choose the right options to get to the end of the level, and there are ways to lose in later levels, but it's really fun. It's actually really fun. Underhanded, I think it's called. I don't know, just look it up. But Underhand or Underhanded is very cool. It's very fun. It's like it's a small game, but it's like very minimal cards and art, but it's so fun. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Anything else I played on my phone? I tried playing Pokemon Go, but I don't think it. I think it's not very enticing for a hardcore Pokemon fan. It works for like if you're like not as hardcore into it. Like it's a casual version of Pokemon, hyper casual. I think it's a little bit pay to win in a sense where you have to keep. Well, not pay to win, pay to continue. Really, there's no winning. At least the competitive aspect of fighting other characters are based on random shit. There's no way to just pay for a strong Pokemon, but you do have to catch them with Pokeballs that cost money, and that's kind of like. I liked it. I liked it for a little while, and then like I was like, "Where's the battles? Where's the turn based?" And then you got into a battle, and you tap and you swipe. I don't like that. If they put in like turn based mechanics such as like that, you choose a move every turn and all that, like the games, that game would be pretty good. I'd play it. I'd play it a lot, but they don't do that. And they added trainer battles, and they still didn't do it. And it's like, I'm not interested, man. Get out of my house. Get off of my phone. Uninstall. I mean, it's cool they added the Gen 4, which is my favorite generation of... Well, no, the first one I played, so that's interesting. Another Pokemon news, I haven't played it this week, technically, so it's cheating in this list of order, but it doesn't really fucking matter. But I did get to play the new Pokemon game, the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu game. And I gotta say, that was pretty fun. I was surprised at how fun it was. However, I only played it in handheld mode because in some ungodly, stupid rage, or stupid moment, I guess, whatever, Nintendo/Game Freak decided that the only way to play it in docked mode was with one controller. I don't know why you can't use a Pro controller. You have to hold it in one hand. You have to. It's so awkward to control. And the battle throwing the thing is alright. That's fun. I don't mind that. But like, you try to control the game with one hand, and your other hand's just doing nothing. It's not. It's very hard for my brain to like wrap my brain around that. But maybe it's just me personally. But because I remember there's a Wario game where the left side of the DS was the thing, but you had to use your stylus, so you were using your other hand for attacks and shit. But it's just like, it's kind of weird to play a game one hand. Like, everything's on one hand. No matter, like, it's a neat concept, like, for a phone game maybe, but like with a controller, it's kind of awkward. But that's my only complaint about the game, other than maybe not having wild battles. But the fact that there's no wild battles does add to the fact of, like, you can shiny hunt easier. So it's a pretty fun game. I'd recommend it, honestly. Especially if you love the original Generation 1 games, because they're like a remake of that. They're pretty good. And the Pikachu stuff is very cute. Petting your Pikachu and like giving them hairdos. It's fun. Yeah, so that was about all the games I played recently. I also played something else recently. I don't remember. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to get into the first news story. It's not a news story. It's not news. I did it. That doesn't count. So my first topic for today, a major topic, besides the miniature topics and the non-rotating topics, as I used to call them, Smash Bros. Ultimate Story and why piracy comes at a cost. So the story begins on. I look at my calendar because I remember how long ago it was. I get to November. Okay. On November 24th. Okay, on November 24th, I was on my lunch break. Or I guess it was a lunch. I don't know if I was eating lunch, whatever. I was on my break at work. And I go to YouTube, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's on. I turn on my VPN, because my job blocks YouTube for some stupid reason. I go to YouTube, and I start scrolling down my recommended feed. And all of a sudden, I see a video. Oh, someone has a copy of Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is 2 weeks before the game comes out. The game would have come out in 2 weeks at that point. So as soon as I saw that, the first thing in my mind was, someone's going to leak the ROM. It's not too hard, in my mind, I didn't know this was hard, but it's not too hard for someone like me to hack a Switch. Why don't I go looking for the ROM? So then, Sunday night, this happened Friday, and then, wait a minute, okay, whatever. So Saturday night, I pre-ordered, I was going to pre-order the game that night as well, so I actually ended up going to pre-order the game. I thought I might mention it to the GameStop employee, like, yo, you hear they leaked the game, someone got a copy of the game, Street Day was broken by someone. I thought it was funny. So I mentioned it to the cashier or whatever, and they were just like, okay, here's your check, get out of here. I was like, okay. It was funny, but, and then I got home, and I was looking around, I found the ROM. Now, this was where this takes a turn for the stupid. So I then proceed to try to hack into the Switch and boot into custom firmware for about, it took from like 9 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning, and I didn't get to boot custom firmware. I did, however, back up my NAND, which is important, but not the most, but most importantly, I didn't back up a specific file that basically tells the Switch how it turns on, and in general sense, like, is the boot file. So, alright, I didn't back that up. I remember this fact, because I need to do it, and I didn't do it because I didn't know I needed to do it. So eventually, I get custom firmware running on my Switch after a lot of trial and error, and I end up playing Smash Ultimate for about a week and a half. And after that, I find out that custom firmware will now run on the newer firmware. Now, this is important because I downgraded to 6.1. I'm on 6.2 originally. So I downgraded my software, or my firmware, to 6.1. Now, what that does for a Switch, because the Switch burns E-fuses in its CPU. 7 for 6.1 and 8 for 6.2. Because it detects 8 fuses burnt and I'm on 6.1, it should think that there's 7, but there's not. It decides to not turn on when you hit the power button if you like put the system to sleep mode, and you can't boot it no matter what you do unless you inject custom payload, which requires you to have a piece of metal inside the right Joy-Con rail, which is kind of annoying, but it works. So I got it working for a little bit, and then eventually I found out, okay, I can upgrade to 6.2 because they hacked that now. And the reason I went down is because there was no way to get custom firmware running on 6.2. So I tried that night around, I'd say it's like a week later, I tried like maybe the next Saturday. I attempted to restore the NAND backup that I made previously, which is basically everything inside the Switch's internal hard drive. All the files, the firmware files, and your save games, and your installed games. All 32 gigabytes of it, or well, around 30 for me because I didn't fill it up all the way. I had 2 gigabytes remaining for my particular console based on what games I've installed, which wasn't enough to install anything else of significance, so I ended up installing most stuff to the SD card anyway. But unfortunately, the Switch decides that if you put your SD card in another Switch, it has to format it. So I had to re-download Splatoon and Mario Odyssey, which sucks, but I don't care. It didn't take very. I just did it while I was playing Smash offline. Anyway, when I got it back up and running. So I attempt to restore the NAND backup, but unfortunately, because I don't have those boot files, I basically bricked the Switch for about 3 days. Now, the footnotes of this is that basically after bricking the Switch, I figured I had to buy a new one. So I returned a capture card that I just purchased so I can make more videos. I was planning on using it to record a playthrough. Well, I'm going to get this in my project section, but I was going to record some playthroughs. I was going to stream some console games. It was going to be fun. I was preparing for Smash Ultimate's release when I was able to fully stream the game without being risked Nintendo ninjas knocking on my door like, hey, I hear you're playing a game that isn't released yet and you pirated it. Anyway, this is literally piracy. I pirated Smash Ultimate, but I'm not saying to do it. I'm not advocating for it. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Because what will happen is you're probably going to break your Switch trying to. Which I did. I bricked my Switch for a very long time, for like about a week. No, half a week. So I returned the capture card, which is still in return process because UPS doesn't know what they're doing apparently. They didn't scan it, so I still haven't gotten my money back for that, and I kind of want it back anyway, so it's a whole complicated process. Story for another time. Anyway, so I try to scrape together some money to get the Switch, and I end up not being able to do it. So what I do Tuesday night, last Tuesday, which is about a week ago now, I decide to try a method to get it back to 6.1 firmware, which works. I use a program that basically sends the firmware files to the Switch. Unfortunately, that brings it back to system default, and I have to system initialize the system, so I have to start over as a new user on the system as if it was brand new out of the box. And I still have the issue of not being able to turn it on without injecting custom firmware. Fortunately, Wednesday night, Thursday night, the night before Smash Ultimate releases, I go on the forums and I ask, is there any way I can get my firmware back to 6.2 and make it so that it's clean firmware? And this very nice user on Reddit, who has name, I forgot. Let me look it up real quick. I have probably be my Reddit history of like comments and replies. So, user, let's see, probably gone. I don't know how to find it now. Hold on. No, if I click context, just bring me there. User eScrub on Reddit. He helped me get back to, or they, I guess I don't know their gender, but that doesn't matter. Point is, they helped me basically get back to clean firmware by basically using a special program to install the firmware based on the firmware files I've extracted from my NAND backup. And then once I was on clean firmware, then I just backed up my NAND, or once I was on 6.2, had all the files on that system running 6.2, I was able to back up all my save games and everything. So now everything's back to normal, and I got a physical copy of Smash Ultimate at GameStop on Friday morning after I went to karate and Trader Joe's and some other random places, did some errands, I got some food and stuff, and then I went to pick up my copy of Smash, which I had purchased before all of this anyway, so technically it's not piracy. It's not stealing piracy, but it's still technically piracy. So the moral of the story is if a game is out, like leaked early, and you really want to play it, just forget it. Don't worry about it's especially if it's on a secure system like the Switch. The Switch is very secure, and I would not recommend what I did. It was not worth it. I mean, think about it. If I had just gotten the game and played it when it came out, I would be way more excited today than I was then. I blew my hype all over those 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks, my hype is gone. I would have had this game in my hands, and I would have been so excited. I would have gone to a midnight release because I didn't have to now because I played the game. I was like, well, what's the point? I would have had an excuse to go to midnight release, meet some cool people, probably see people like playing the game. Maybe I would have seen something crazy, like someone in a costume. I don't know. I was gonna go to Smash Ultimate dressed as Snake, but I kind of blew that because it was too soon. But I would have gotten this game at midnight. It would have been really cool. I would have been so excited. I would have popped it. It would have been the hype. I would have relived like some hype, and I kind of just like was like, just play it now. It wasn't worth it. If I would have waited, I would have had like a better experience with it. Yeah, but that's my story. I unlocked all the characters now, by the way. I have all them. I just unlocked them this morning. The last guy, I think the last person I personally had to unlock was Cloud. And once I did that, I was happy because now I can play all the characters again. Because I did unlock them. I used a save file to unlock them the first time, but this time I had to do it manually because I didn't want to hack my Switch to get a custom save file in there. So I just did it manually, and it was pretty fun. It was a fun experience, like unlocking the characters and stuff. But one last thing about Smash Ultimate, I do not like the online. I'm going to be honest. One thing about it is that you don't get to select the rules that you want, that you're going to play with. You select the rules that you would prefer to play with, and usually it ends up giving you someone else's rules because there's more people with those types of rules. And it's kind of annoying, but yeah. But I do like the spirit system. It's pretty fun. I like collecting them more than than battling with them or anything, but it's fun to collect them because there are some really good ones in there. Like, there's some really funny ones, too. There's one of the sprite from the NES game, from the Earthbound SNES game, of the phone that you call, your dad on, and the name of the spirit is just Ness's father. And it cracked me up because it's just like, I guess yeah, but it's like, because that's the only way you see Ness's father. You talk to him over the phone, and it's kind of funny. Because it's like that's all he gets. Ness's father's always on the phone, always on business trips. It's just kind of like, wow, poor Ness. I mean, he doesn't have as bad as the game after him with Lucas. Lucas has it much worse. I'm not going to spoil that game, but Ness's father is still there. Both his parents are still there. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, so next up, we've got check the comic. I typed a bunch of shit on my computer by accident. Okay. So next up on the list is we got the You Are Deadpool comic. I didn't get to read this yet, but I'll tell you the story. It's pretty interesting. I was at a little store known as Book Off. It's on 45th Street in New York City. I went down to the city today. It was pretty fun. And I was at this store and I was trying to sell my Wii U, which I'll get into later on. I'm going to get that out of there because that's probably my credit card information. But, yeah, it's this little store, and I was trying to sell my Wii U, which is the last story I'll talk about for today. But, in the process, I was looking around the store, and I went to the comics section, and I found this on the shelves. Well, not I didn't find it, but the person I was with found it, and they were like, hey, look at this comic. It says, You Are Deadpool, and they were like, wait, I gotta check this out, and they looked at it, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. So he showed it to me, and I looked through it, and I'm like, no way, this is Choose Your Own Adventure Deadpool. That's what this is right here. It says right here, you ready to have an adventure, turn the page. It's just like, I haven't gotten into it yet, but it's really cool because the main thing about this comic is there is like a legitimate tutorial. The first few pages, Deadpool's like doing a tutorial, and it has like a little like character sheet. It's like you have to roll dice to chaotic sassy alignment. Class, very little. Deadpool, huh? Anyway, yeah. It's just like one of those things where it's basically like a D&D style, like roll dice thing, but it's a choose your own adventure book, and it's Deadpool, and it came out in September. I didn't know about this, and if I hadn't gone to that store to sell the Wii U, which I may not have which I'll get into in the story. But if I didn't go to the store, I wouldn't have noticed this comic, and I wouldn't have bought it. This is a fantastic idea for a comic, and I cannot wait to get into it because it's just like it's so cool, like rolling dice and playing. Like you're basically playing a game for this comic, and like you could read it so many times. My nose is dripping. I'm sorry, but it's just a cool idea, and I'm like very excited about it. Yeah, it's like so silly and wacky of an idea, but I love the cover, like all these different like versions of Deadpool, like oh no, he's like overwhelmed by them. You know, like get all these wacky Deadpool types, and he's just like, no, there's too many. Yeah, and there's like basically like you make choices through the story, gain things, lose things. It's a cool idea for a comic, and it's brand new. It just came out like last month, or no, September. So the end of September, which is when this first released, issue 1. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool idea. I'm excited to try it out. I'm actually gonna try it out as soon as I get done with this video. Yeah. So other entertainment I've been doing this week, because we're on to the next topic. I haven't really done anything other than play Smash Ultimate this week. Let me think. There had to be something. I don't think I watched anything other than like just regular old news YouTube videos. Just general stuff about Smash and videos on YouTube. I didn't see any movies recently. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this topic for this week. Anyway, my Wii U is now literally worthless. Actually, I'm gonna go get it. Just show you. Actually, no, I'm not, because it's in a bag that reveals my location. Anyway, it's a bag from somewhere I go frequently. So, you know, if I showed you, you'd know where I basically go all the time. Anyway, point is, my Wii U is literally worthless. So ever since, like, I guess I don't know how long ago it was, but eventually my Wii U decided to start doing this thing where every time I press the power button, it turns on, like boots, it bricks itself then. And then I have to hold the power button down for a few seconds, turn it back on, and then it'll boot. Of course, when I went to go trade this Wii U in at this book off store. That's when I found this comic, of course. And when I went to the store, the first time I didn't have the Wii sensor bar, and they were able to assess it, and they said, okay, we're probably going to give you about $30 anyway. Come back next week with the Wii sensor bar. And I did this week. And when I came back, they tested it, and they said, okay, now we found another problem with it. The gamepad will not charge. You can't get it to turn on. I'm just like, so it's worthless. And they're like, yeah, it's pretty much worthless. So I was like, okay, well, thanks. We're going to take it back now. And I took it back, put it back in my bag, which sucked because my shoulder's, like, killing me. It's just like, my shoulder, it's my arm, really, but, like, it's, my neck kind of hurt on the train back. It's just like, I had to carry it home. I was like expecting to drop it off and not have to bring it back with me. You know, it was heavy because it's a whole Wii U system, all this stuff. So I was hoping I wouldn't have to bring it back, lug it back home on the train. So it doesn't work anymore. The gamepad won't charge, so I'd have to either replace the whole gamepad or the battery inside the gamepad. That'll probably cost me $30 anyway, or probably more. So it's like not even worth it to fix it. There's no games in there that I really want to play that I wouldn't just want to just emulate because I already own them. So just pop the disc in my computer and play it that way. So I might as well throw it out. It's just kind of sad that such an important system technically for my high school years, because during high school we played a lot of the Wii U because that was what was out and that was the new games were coming out on that. I remember Pokemon came out in that, and I was playing my friend. One funny story about that is I was playing my friend over the internet. We weren't like voice chatting because the Wii doesn't have voice chat or something, and we didn't have like Discord at the time. So I was like fighting him in Pokemon, and like he just stopped moving. I was like, "What does he do? Where'd he go? What the hell?" And I texted him like, "What happened?" And just, like 10 minutes later, he comes back like, "I had to go to the bathroom, so I just had to go." And it was just like, dude, you should have just said that before you left. But it was funny. It was a funny story. But like stuff like that happened during the Wii U era, and that was cool to me. Pokemon's on the Switch now too, but I don't have it because I was never good at Pokemon. It was just like to me. I was more into Smash when that was around. They were around the same time. We played a lot of Pokemon and Smash in high school, and it was great. But it's sad to see like my Wii U is all dead now. It wasn't my Wii U that we played on though most of the time, other than my friends because he would bring it into school. And I remember one time I brought I remember the battery not working in high school, so it wasn't like a new thing. It always didn't. It never worked because I remember like 2016 when I was in high school. I was like, okay, my Wii U's not charging. I want to see if it's the charger. So I brought my charger in and I tried it on my friend's Wii U and it worked. So I brought it back home, whatever. I was like, so now the battery's broken. I never bothered to fix it. And if I did, I would have $30 right now, but I didn't, so I don't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got to buy this Deadpool comic. I would have never noticed it. It's $15. I would have been able to buy it with the money from the Wii U. This would have cost me basically nothing. But I just paid for it out of pocket because I was like, you know what? I can't not buy this. This book is amazing. What the hell? There's like a fold up piece. There's it comes. Oh god, this is so silly and wacky. Dude, Deadpool is. This is great. The lines are on the other side. That's so dumb. I can't wait to read this now. Play this technically. What I'm gonna do for this book is that it comes with a little like character sheet. For replayability, I'm gonna scan it into my printer, print it out, and then stick it in a sleeve. One of those what would you call it? Like a plastic sleeve. And I bought these like little dry erase markers, and I'm going to use that to fill out the sections here, the score and whatever, and inventory stuff. And I'm going to use that to play the game, and then I'll use my D&D dice because they look fantastic. Where'd they go? Oh, here they are. I can show this off. Oh, yeah, I can tell D&D stories now. I have this perfect thing to talk about it on this show. And these are my dice. My first dice. I bought them. First set of D&D dice. Take out the D20. Show it out just because it's the most iconic D&D style dice. This is the D20, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like has this weird texture to it. Pretty cool looking. You always need more dice as a D&D player. Anyway, I'll use this to play because they're good. I can talk about that, but maybe next time. I didn't play D&D this week, so maybe I'll add that as a recurring topic because I usually play every week. I started playing D&D. It's very fun. It's very fun, very creative. Our campaign is amazingly hilarious. Our DM has such a good sense of humor. He knows what he's doing when it comes to comedy because there's one part where we actually filed not actually, but our characters were filing paperwork. We just went through a whole bureaucratic system to get into this city. It was freaking hilarious. It was great. There's a little thing at the top of what the? Okay, that was weird. There's a little thing at the top of Firefox. Anyway, yeah, D&D is amazing, especially if you have a DM that makes a good adventure. And yeah, our adventure was so fun. We broke into a bank last time I played to steal a bust for a wizard because he wanted the bust back. He gave it to someone, they put it in the bank, he wanted us to steal it from this maximum security bank. And we did it, and it was because we had to do it to get another to save the town. It was a whole I'll tell it some other time. It was D&D is so fun. It's so because you can have so much fun with it, especially if you're doing a funny campaign. It can be funny. If you do a serious campaign, it can be serious. I love D&D. It's fun. Tabletop. It's awesome. All right. Now, last but not least, projects I'm working on. Go. So, one thing I want to start doing on this channel is more playthroughs of serious or story-based games. I think I want to try it out. For a little bit with Persona 5 because I haven't yet finished the game and I want to start it over and go through it because I've only beaten I haven't beaten the first dungeon yet, so it's a little bit fresh to me. Enough of the game is fresh to me that it would be fun to watch my reaction to the game, and I want to try it out because I really want to play the game, especially with they revealed for Smash for the DLC, which I should have talked about in this, but I didn't. Anyway, this is my old capture card. Well, old, I say. It's my current capture card. It's the Elgato Game Capture HD. Piece of junk. Throw it out. This thing does not capture gameplay that well. I was gonna try to salvage this to use like to start doing the playthrough tonight. However, I'm gonna still try it, but like it doesn't send audio. It doesn't send the audio through to my monitor TV, and it's also very laggy. It's very shitty. It doesn't work. So I bought a new one, obviously, but like the whole thing is going on with it to like try to get it to return, because I returned it to try to scrap together money to buy another Switch, which I don't need to buy since I fixed it. So it's just kind of like really wish I could just fucking. I wish I didn't have to return. I wish I fixed the Switch before I sent it back, because I would just have it right now, and I wouldn't have to worry about, I wouldn't have to, mess about in the whole system of UPS, because they don't know what they're doing. I have to call them now. I went to the store that I dropped it off of, and they gave me a number to call. I called the number. They wanted my tracking number, so I spoke, and you have to speak it, because of course it doesn't have just numbers. It has numbers and letters, so you can't type it into the phone. So if I want to do it, I have to basically speak it perfectly. My strategy, though, here's my strategy. I'm going to put it into a text-to-speech program, the tracking number, and have the text-to-speech program tell the automated system my tracking number, and then it's going to connect me to a real person, and they're probably going to be like, that was a very robotic voice. What did you do? I'm like, I put in the text-to-speech, ma'am, or sir, or whomever. I put it in the text-to-speech, man. I just put in text-to-speech so that you guys could get it. It's like no one, this automated system's not understanding me. I don't know why. I speak pretty clearly, but it just doesn't get me. It doesn't get my vibe. Anyway, the projects I'm working on, that is one of them. Attempting to start like a Let's Play style, playthrough style video series, because I just think it would be better than like streaming something like that. Because a stream for that, I have to do highlights, and I'm like too lazy, but if I record a specific video every day for it and then go, okay, this has to be edited, this has to be done, then it's like a little bit easier. Yeah, so that's that. Next up on the projects, I also want to do a comic of some sort one day. And after reading, like seeing this Deadpool comic, I kind of want to make it a choose your own adventure story, but I might not end up doing that whole thing. But I do have an idea for a comic, which is based on like a world where there's like magic and like fantasy aspects, but it also takes place in like modern day. And I had a cool scene that I wrote where like a real wizard, like someone who uses actual magic, sees like a con artist doing like a sleight of hand technique, like basically bullshit magic, to steal someone's like money. Like he's like doing this trick, like, oh, I can make this $50 bill disappear, and he's in a bar, so he's like preying on the drunk people. So he like just some like sleight of hand and takes the money, and then the character I have, which is basically me, goes up and says, "Hey, you want to see some real shit?" And then like basically shows him like a real magic spell, and makes him give the money back. So it's just kind of like it's kind of a cool dynamic of like there's like people who do magic, which is like sleight of hand and like illusions, and then there's like people who use actual legitimate magic, like fire coming out of nowhere type shit. Because that's the story, that's the kind of universe it is. And I think it's not like a major plot point, like a major thing. It's just kind of like a funny scene I thought of. Like, have a character like that knows real magic stop a fake magician from stealing someone's money. That's pretty fun. I thought of it on the train. I just wrote it down. I just started typing it. Originally, it was like he was just trying to... Like, a magician was doing a legit show, and my character was like, I don't like fake magic. Fuck off. And I was like, that's not my style. I wouldn't just ruin a guy's act because, like, I'm a real magician, like, real magic. So I was like, that doesn't, like, fit the character of myself. And then I was like, all right, let me change it so that he's, like, a con artist. And I basically stopped this guy from stealing someone's money. So, more heroic in that sense and less of a dick just being like, real magic is better, Anyway, what other things? I do want to start up abstract reviews again. So, I'm working on ideas for that. I want to do like a show that isn't based on reviewing stuff, but I wouldn't mind reviewing stuff as well because that's fun. Like, there's so much you could do with that, and there's so little you could do with it at the same time. It's a whole process, man. I just want to like, review stuff and make it. I don't know. I just don't want it to be too challenging to like write. Like, I want to be able to just write the story, but I can't figure out what to do. The no video series on if it's just not based on a review. So I'm probably just gonna end up doing a review show. Yeah, so that's about it. That was all I had to talk about. There's one more thing I was thinking about talking about, and then I didn't talk about it, and I should talk about it. I don't remember. I'm going now. Alright, that's the end of the video. See you guys for the next video. Podcast of one. Yeah. So, I'm done now. Bye.